So I've been sick for several weeks and doctors won't treat me because I'm a conservative. Telling you what, this is getting kind of miserable, whatever this is. Well, I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I think it started out as an allergy. And it was a mild allergy. I've been on a carnivorous diet for the last year and a half. And my allergies have gotten much better. Used to be it would just knock me out every year. But this one, it was just a slight little head cold feeling type thing, no big deal. And I wasn't even sneezing that much, it wasn't too bad. So I've been really proud of my carnivorous diet. Then it changed, it felt different. And I think I actually caught a cold, a small cold. Again, it wasn't too bad. And again, I attribute that to being on a healthy diet, that the cold went away in a big hurry. But you gotta imagine, my immune system has been going through torture for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, wherever this was. And then, and I'm pretty sure this is what it is, it turned into a sinus infection. All that pollen, it was ragweed right before the frost. And then I had the cold, and so my sinuses were just taking a beating. So it turned into a sinus infection. And again, a little different, but still the same kind of feeling. This has been pretty miserable. And I've been doing okay, and I've been trying to treat myself. I use this, Carolyn mixes it up for me. It's a peroxide, Himalayan salt, and distilled water solution. And a few times a day, I squirt that up my nose with a little ear bulb thing. You can buy those at Dollar General. I'll tell you, that's torture. I don't know if it's torture because my sinuses are so raw, or if it's just generally torture. But you can feel it fizzing up. It's pretty miserable. Of course, I have the sore throat also. And so that drains down and gets onto the sore throat. But it's really working. I can tell it works. Really loosens everything up. So I feel like I'm getting better. It's just really taking a toll on me because it's lasted so long. But I'm pretty convinced it's different things. But I'm a big advocate of trying to find solutions to myself. Like I said, I've been on this carnivorous diet. Now, when I say that, people immediately jump to, oh, you can't be on a carnivorous diet. As a matter of fact, I said it the other day, and you see that my eyes are kind of sunken in and dark. And it's because I'm not getting enough sleep, because in the middle of the night, I'm got the sinus problems. I mean, my nostrils close up on me. It's terrible. So I wake up and I put essential oils in my nose, and that kind of loosens them up. That works pretty good. Of course, you want your nostrils to close up so your immune system can work really hard on getting all that cleaned up without you blowing your nose out. So the white blood cells are in there trying to keep everything clean, and I'm trying to loosen up my nostrils so I can breathe. So you try to understand your body as much as you can. But being on a carnivorous diet, people are saying, oh, that's why your eyes are dark, is because your kidneys are failing. No, that's not it. I'm not getting too much protein. I believe that a carnivorous diet is probably the most healthiest diet you can be on. And even if it's not, I've never been healthier. Of course, I'm saying that while I'm sick, but I do think that if I had not been on this diet and I had all these things happen to me all at once, I'd probably be on death's doorknob right now, because this has been a pretty tough one. But I've never had a fever, which I think is key. Here I got an infection, and I know it's an infection, and I haven't broke out in a fever. I remember years ago, I kept getting, I don't know how to explain it. Lightheaded isn't the word. I would actually feel like I was in a dream state, and I would get dizzy. I just don't know how to explain it. I was actually keeping a journal because I was pretty sure I was having some sort of brain damage, maybe brain cancer or tumor or something. It was kind of scary. Well, one day I was driving home, and I knew that was going to be the last day on earth for me. It was terrible. And I just needed to get home. And I tried to stay conscious as much as I could trying to get home. And I told myself, the moment I know I am going to die, I was going to turn the wheel so it didn't head off into incoming traffic. Now, it was a 2-lane road and it wasn't very busy. I had probably not any cars on it, actually. But I made it home. I went inside the house and I collapsed right on the floor. And my ex-wife, wife at the time, called an ambulance, and it was a sinus infection. Now they're trying to figure out what's wrong with me, and they're blaming that I'm on drugs and all this stuff. Well, you know, they take a drug test. Obviously, I'm not on drugs. So they finally give me a CT scan or one of those things where they put you in this tunnel and they scan you to find out I had a sinus infection. Well, I'm not like that now, and I contribute that to my healthy diet and how well I've been taking care of myself. I also take garlic every day. Now, when I'm sick like this, I take garlic several times a day. 2 tablets in the morning and afternoon and before bed. But when I'm feeling okay, I just take 1 garlic. And garlic helps prevent infections. Well, now I have a sinus infection, and it's not killing me. I mean, it's miserable, but it's not killing me. You know, my nostrils is closing up in the middle of the night. It's probably the worst symptom I have. But I know that I am healthier at 51 years of age than I've ever been in my life, and that's because of my diet. Last year, I had aches and pains, and we know that carbohydrates and vegetables both cause inflammation. As a matter of fact, every vegetable has a poison in it that causes inflammation. Last year, I had asthma, really bad, right after the allergy season. And so I was buying these Primatene mist inhalers. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do this lifestyle much longer because of the health issues. Using them all to split firewood, my shoulder was getting where I couldn't even sleep on it anymore. Well, I switched to the meat diet, and it's about 80%. You know, on Fridays we still splurge and get off the diet a little bit. So the other day I did a poll question. I said, I refuse to ever go to a doctor. Yes or no, or something like that. That's kind of what the question was. A lot of people said, no, I'm never going to a doctor. And that was the end of the subject. Or they'll say doctors are paid off by big pharma, which is kind of true. I believe that. But the people who do go to a doctor, you can hear the anger in their voice that anybody would say, oh no, you won't go to a doctor. They're just mad. I guess because they go to a doctor. I don't know why they're so mad, but they're definitely mad and they're chewing everybody out. Well, I haven't been to a doctor since that's, well, I've only been to a doctor a couple times since that sinus thing. The other time I went to a doctor, I had a really bad rash. I've told you about this story. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. It wasn't even a doctor. I went to urgent care. They had no clue what was wrong with me. Well, I figured out it was mold poisoning. I lived in an apartment that apparently had mold in the walls. And once I figured that out, I was able to treat myself. Because you have an autoimmune deficiency is what it is, like Crohn's disease and all kind of stuff. But there are very famous people on YouTube who talk about how meat diets have cured them. I am trying to analyze why these people are getting so angry. And it makes sense why they're angry. I think, based on what I found the other day in that poll, is there's kind of 2 types of people. One who takes care of themselves and is responsible for their own health. They see their health as their responsibility. And then there are others who see their health as the doctor's responsibility. I figure with the information available, I should be able to figure out most things. What I see is a lot of people say, well, I have diabetes, or I have arthritis, or I have, whatever. And I have to go to the doctor. Well, diabetes. Here's what I would say about diabetes, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but diabetes would indicate that you have a poor diet. You're eating a lot of sugar. What really frustrates me about that is when you go to the doctor, doctors tell you to eat sugar. They tell you to eat carbs. Carbs turn into sugar, and if you're a diabetic, sugar is the last thing you want. So why are doctors doing that? Well, they want you to come back so you'll pay them money, and they'll give you insulin. And so they're trying to hook you onto something. Keep eating carbs. Eat all the good food you want. Oh, that's great. Eat all those carbs. Oh, yeah, spaghetti's great. You're poisoning yourself. So you keep going back and you keep giving them money, and they keep giving you drugs. Painkillers the same way. That was another big one. I'm in chronic pain all the time. Well, Carolyn, she had a serious back injury. She still has it. Since she's went on the carnivorous diet, the inflammation has went away. And although her back still hurts occasionally, The pain isn't just knocking her down because there's nothing swelling in there causing her to have agonizing pain. The damage is still there, but no swelling. So the same thing was happening with my lungs. You know, I said I had asthma. My bronchial tube was getting inflamed, swelling up, and I wasn't getting enough oxygen. So Primatene Mist takes care of that. Well, if you get rid of the carbohydrates, you won't have the swelling. Anybody I've ever known that had cancer died from cancer. So they give you chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is based on mustard gas. Mustard gas is it's a chemical weapon they used in World War I. And that's actually how they discovered chemotherapy, was mustard gas. They're giving you a treatment that was designed to kill people and does cause cancer to cure cancer. The latest person I know was paying $8,000 per treatment 3 times a week for weeks. And she still died a year later, a year and a half later. Why did she have to go through all that pain to still die? Well, it was to line the pockets of the doctor. Doctors are no longer there to treat people, in my opinion, to find out what the problem is. And I've thought this for a long time. They don't look at what the root cause of the problem is. They're only treating the symptoms. So if you have chronic pain, hey, I tell you what to do. Take these drugs. And then they get you hooked on the drugs. So now your body's creating pain, even if it may not be there, so you'll go get more drugs. I know when Carolyn was going to a doctor for her back, they were doing physical therapy with her. Well, one day she had to miss the appointment because of a snowstorm. So she goes back to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, since you missed your appointment, we'll put you on pain management. Well, pain management meant drugs. That was the solution. Go get drugs. That's not a solution. The solution is your body can heal. It's designed to heal. But doctors aren't healing you. If they were healing you, they wouldn't be giving you insulin. They'd be reducing your carbs. If doctors were healing, they'd be trying to figure out how to reduce the inflammation on injuries instead of just pumping you full of drugs. Doctors know these things, but they're not allowed to diagnose and fix these things anymore because of the pharmaceutical companies. So as a conservative, I don't go to doctors. People will say, oh, you have to go to the doctor, you'll go to the doctor. If I break a bone or something, I might go to the doctor. Although I have dislocated my ankle a while back, a few years ago. And that weekend, I put it back into place myself. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about being evicted. So if I can inspire you to take charge of your health so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.